Alright, here we go. Today started off, I was feeling pretty good. I saw 32 Thoughts had dropped, and I saw that there was a section about the Sabres. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll tune in and listen to see what Friedman has to say. So, alright, he confirms Adams is GM. Figured that was going to happen, so, I wasn't going to get mad. And, okay, cool, the senior advisor thing, that's going to happen. Awesome. That's good news. You can make your jokes about the fact that it's taken them 5 years to give their first-time GM an advisor, but you know what? Whatever. They're doing it. Okay. And even, honestly, I laughed. It was very funny. I laughed at the Eric Staal thing. But it's a new set of eyes. It's a former player, which can really only help for recruitment around these parts. So I was fine with it. I was feeling optimistic. Somehow. I should have known. I should have known that was not going to stick around. But I was feeling optimistic. And then. Let's start with the Karmanos thing, alright? This guy, who has been the one person since Adams was hired who actually brought outside managerial experience that was relevant. This guy has been in the NHL front office longer than all of us have been alive. Since 1998, he's been climbing that corporate ladder. He was the one guy with that experience. It's not to say he was perfect, alright? Not to say he was perfect, and that's not even to say that if he was ever in the GM chair, that he would do a good job. But holy man, if there's anybody that deserves a spot in that chair, it's him. Who has a better resume in the NHL right now of first-time GMs that would possibly be looking for a GM spot? There's no way it's just always stepping down for family reasons. This guy was interviewing for jobs last year. And now he might not come back. I can only guess that it has to do with the fact that he came to Buffalo because he obviously thought it was a spot where he could be the GM in a few years. There's no way it wasn't that. So he's probably seeing this and be like, this is year 5. That not only do A, I deserve a promotion, but B, the clown in front of me is getting a 6th kick at the can, their 5th kick in, I don't even know. The years have blurred together. But he's got another year kick at the can, and if he fails, he's probably gone, and everybody associated with him is probably gone, which includes me! This guy has done God's work with the Amerks since he's been put in charge of that organization. God's work! Alright, the Amerks were a good playoff team in the Bottle era, pardon me, they were a good team in the Bottle era, but they sucked in the playoffs. I don't think they had a single round win. This guy comes in, first playoff run, they win multiple rounds. Second playoff run, they get all the way to the conference finals and beat it and lose to a team of 35-year-olds. He has only done good things down there. And now we're at this point that he might be leaving. He might be stepping away. How do you that up that much? Just give him the goddamn promotion. It doesn't change anything. Nobody gets fired. Adams doesn't lose power. In fact, he gets more power. He'd be moving up. Let this guy go. Give him his shots. The dynamic wouldn't even have to change. Just give him a new title. Up his pay. Yeah, I know. Up his pay a little bit. Just up it a little bit. You honestly can only get better. There's no way he can do worse than the guy in front of him. So, that would have been enough. That would have been enough to set me the off. But then, thanks, Frank Spaghetti, for dropping in your article, confirming what we basically have known, that Seth Appert is the golden child of this organization for no goddamn reason. There's no reason that he has as much influence and power as he should. But for some reason, this was the guy that Kevin Adams wanted to appoint as head coach last year. It's very obvious that when those rumors were dropping, Adams wanted to give Appert his shot. And it was Terry. It was actually, we have Terry Pagula to thank for this. He was the one that wanted Lindy Ruff. I mean, it went south anyways. But holy shit, we have Terry Pagula to thank for actually wanting an experienced head coach in there. When the idiot GM wanted to bring in his best friend. I don't even know if they're best friend. For some reason, Seth Appert has put a curse or a spell on Kevin Adams because he thinks everything the he does is perfect. Which I think somebody said that the one thing that gets on Kevin Adams' nerves, the one thing, is Seth Appert criticism, which is incredible because there's so much of it to go around. Guy was an awful power play coach this year. Awful. It was the one job he had. He was the power play coach, and he sucked at it. Now listen, this guy had a decent tenure with the Amerks. I'm not gonna talk that down. He had a good tenure. Had a few playoff runs that I talked about. He was a part of those. And guys like Jack Quinn, J.J. Peterka, and even somebody like Matthias Samuelsson, hey, he graduated to the NHL, which is something that we at one point in time thought was not possible. But honestly, looking back on it, okay, we know that the main development guys, we know who the main development guys in the organization are. When he was in the AHL, at the time, Michael Pekka was one of the big ones. And the other one now is Vinny Prospal. Appert was just there to be he's the head coach. And I'm not saying he doesn't play a part. Of course he does. But other guys may have had bigger roles in those developments. And not to mention, I remember those playoff runs. He was out-coached in that Hershey series so bad. The one that he became so terrified of Beck Malenstein that he had to tell the GM to trade a second-round pick. I don't want to jump ahead. We'll get there. We'll get to the roster stuff. But this guy is not, even with the Amerks, he was nowhere near perfect, nowhere near the level that would make you think this guy should be an NHL head coach. And let's not even get into, before that, his only other head coaching stop was the RPI program, and it wasn't even that good of a coaching tenure. He's not thought of very highly there. Doesn't even stop there. This guy that I just outlined is getting more roster control, more influence. I mean, we should have known. This isn't new information. We knew who's telling Kevin Adams to trade for Beck Malenstein, a second-round pick. And obviously we got word in the embedded of he was instrumental in Josh Norris coming here, being the guy that the Sabres honed in on. So great. The guy has a voice, a huge voice. He's an assistant coach, and he's a prime reason of why you're trading for the guy that you're trading Dylan Cousins for. What the man? What organization gives their assistant coach that much influence? You will not find one. I do not understand the organizational model that is being attempted to be built here. I don't get it. Why does Seth Appert have so much influence? Why do they have this infatuation? Because even Lindy Ruff is supposedly getting more roster influence. Why are the head coaches of this organization being given that much power? Why? Hire more advisors. Just do that. That would mean more money. That would be more money being spent. It's the same equation from start to finish. Why, man? Oh my God. One step forward, 5 leaps backwards.
Episode 121 started with a bit of a Bit of a bang, I guess I would say.
I had to listen to that a few times to get the full crash out, the full experience of that. But well done, sir. Well done.
Pure emotion, zero breaths taken, pure unadulterated anger.
One
That was
police
from
officer
last
seen
week.
on the throughway.
Yeah, you could.
He should not have been driving and doing that. Might have drove himself into a freaking divider with his anger.
Wasn't even news either. Just straight rumors that got me in that mood. It's also funny, like there's people that I know that listen to the show, and like I've had conversations with these people, and they're like, "Dude, you're such like a happy guy. Like I could never picture you as angry." There you go.
You have no idea.
You have no idea how bad it can get.
I was gonna say JP gets most of it, obviously being in the same house. But I mean, I haven't seen Jonah angry too often. But sometimes I'll get a text in our group chat from JP to be like, Jonah's watching the game and he's in full crash out right now. He's like flipping out on the couch. I'm just like, man, I'd pay to see that right now.
See, I know, like, in our friend group, I'm known as, like, the rage monster now. But growing up with Jonah, trust me, it was the other way. It was the other way. Now it's just directed towards the Sabres.
After hearing that audio clip, I believe you.
Recently, I don't even, like, I feel like I've seen JP crash out more on the Sabres than myself. I've just been, like, repressing it, which I heard can be really, really bad for you. So it was almost, I think it was healthy that I got that out of me, that I got that out of my system.
I think JP was in full delusional mode for a while, which was a healthy way of getting out any sort of frustrations with the draft lottery and then possibly free agency, to be seen. But
Yeah,
you know what? Sometimes you got to live in delusion.
It's not over. It is not over. Me and Alex Jones, we will be riding that high until until it really crashes down. I mean, Alex Jones will always be riding that high, but I'm getting to my breaking point. I mean, I feel like I've already kind of been there, but the delusion's kind of been helping.
How many times have we said we've reached our breaking point? We just keep talking about it. Keep talking about this team on a week-over-week basis. There's no breaking point.
Getting there in May is definitely a first, though. I have to say, I don't think I've ever had a breaking point in May.
It's been a tough 2 seasons, man. It's been a tough sled for a while. Justifiable, I will say, justifiable.
We were discussing when we were going to record next last week, because I'm sure some people saw on my Twitter that I was like debating about so for anyways, I haven't even explained the clip that you just all of our listeners just subjected themselves to for the last 10 minutes. Last week, Wednesday, was it? Was it Wednesday when all that stuff dropped? The Staal news. Friedman drops 32 thoughts. Buffalo News says Karmanos might be leaving the organization, and then Frank Saravalli says that Appert is gaining more control in the organization. All of that like perfect storm all happened in one day, and that was my like initial reaction to it. But I thought we were going to record that night, but after some discussion, we obviously had to push it back. But once we finalized the date, I think I have to pull up the text messages from our group chat just to hear the exact exchange that went down. Where is it? Oh yeah, so we nailed down a date on Friday, and I just straight up said, I'm going to be so miserable next episode. And Christian says, your tweets have implied that, LOL. And then I followed that up with, I don't say this lightly. I have never been more down on this franchise than right now. And then all caps, never. It's a rough few hours for me. I was down and out.
Man, there's the highs and the lows of this team. I mean, like it's all lows, but there's the high lows and there's the low lows, and you just gotta ride that wave sometimes.
What the hell are the high lows?
I said there's the lowest of the lows, and then you get a little bit of hope, just a little bit.
The only positive tweet the Sabre Report has tweeted in the past maybe month, it might even be longer, was wishing Zach Benson a happy birthday.
It's a happy birthday
Other
tweet.
than that, it's all been negative.
My sweet child. He could do nothing wrong.
He's fantastic. I'll tell you that. Future Selke winner. Book it.
Only. Yeesh. Well, what was that?
There's a train coming through my apartment, all right? It's taking me out of my misery.
Good Lord. That's the. It's like the sounds of hell coming to get you after our one positive. That's a sign. Like we say one positive thing. It's like a warning from hell. Oh man. This is tough. May 13th, and I am feeling the bullets at this point. This is something.
Well, to be fair, has there really been anything positive to tweet about? I'm sure for some people there have been positive rumors on an opinionated basis.
We got some individual or independent reporting going on at the Buffalo airport.
It'd be the funniest thing if that was just a random old guy. He's just like on a business trip to just a layover in Buffalo on his way to
him, and he's just
Maryland.
He's just in for a layover. He's like doing like one of those. He's like flying out to. I mean, what isn't? Are there any other GM vacancies right now?
The Kings.
The Kings
Not
are
near
in
us.
Holland.
Oh yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's one of those weird, like, I don't know, fly from Long Island to Buffalo and then Buffalo. I don't know. It's just like we couldn't get better confirmation. Like beggars can't be choosers. I guess a photo is better than no photo, but it's just the back of some old guy's head. There's nothing there. I mean, it does look like him.
It's Lou.
It does, yeah.
It's Lou.
He's
Lou Lamoriello.
He's got that.
It's gonna be.
He's got that sort of frame. It's like when you get all these international tournaments and you see like the photos from practice, and it's like none of these superstars are wearing their numbers, but it's like you can just kind of tell by the frame and the mannerisms, like you could pick out Sidney Crosby and a crowd. Like that's Lou. That's Lou. You don't need to see the front side of his body. It's just very distinct.
Well,
I saw someone say that could be an old photo because Lou hasn't changed in like 20 years. So
he has
like,
been
photo
old.
that photo could be from 2006. No, but didn't someone reported Nick? I'm sorry if I'm butchering this last name. Nick Alberga of the Leafs Morning Take podcast or on the Nation Network. He was saying that the Sabres and him connected a few days ago and they were eager to talk. I don't know how much validity that has, but that's just one of the tweets I was seeing in it.
Hey, any chance we get to dunk on the fourth period for getting another Sabres report wrong? Fine by me.
Fair
Fine by
enough,
me.
yeah.
Or maybe he just changed his mind. He's like, I'll take the Buffalo job. Like,
I mean,
all right. Ken Holland took the gig in LA. I guess I'll go to Buffalo.
Realistically, though, like they hire him and it doesn't go well. Everyone's gone anyway. For him, it's pretty much like a no. It's like just like a last stop. Like, hey, maybe if they pay me better than what they're gonna pay me in.
But this is why the gig is like. It's gonna be really impressive to see if like they get a GM that is like actual. Like a legitimate name. Like, why would you take this gig? Think about what you just said.
Yeah, I know. It's a do or die situation. If it doesn't go well, if you make a mistake in your first year, it is over for everybody. So, could lead to reputation hits. It is true. It's not a very attractive position.
No. I mean, no.
Which former GM is going to want to report to Kevin Adams, who has proved absolutely nothing in this league?
Well, they're not
How
reporting.
much
to Adams.
reporting?
It's
How
more-
much reporting is it going to be?
It's not reporting. It's more so just like this
Collaboration.
Was my point. This was my point during the rant. It's sort of like you're collaborating with someone who is clearly out of his elements, and if you're getting a former GM, that means they have experience, more experience than Kevin Adams. So it's kind of like a weird, I don't know, just so much riding on next year in terms of like who's sticking around that it's almost, it's a weird dynamic because, if you get a GM or if you get a former GM, like you're looking for someone who is going to have active input, and if you're looking for somebody that's looking to revive their reputation, like they're going to want more control so they can make their case to other teams that they're involved in the process. I don't know. I just, we were talking before this episode. Christian was saying how, inevitably there's fans online that are going to criticize the fact that, or criticize just like somebody like Lou Lamoriello possibly being hired. And for him, it's like, well, it's better than nothing, which fair. Like, yeah, like it is better than nothing, but that's the point we're at, where like it's almost anything is better than nothing.
See, I feel like also I've circled back to the conversation we were having. I don't know if this was last summer or some point during the lows. I'm just so sick of like seeing everyone complain about it. Could be anything in the world that they do. Is someone has like they could complain about it. But you know what? That you have the right to do that, and everyone has their own opinions. They do. I don't like to live that way, even though I do complain sometimes, but it's exhausting. It really is. Just reading Sabres news and then unfortunately finding the same people in the same comment section saying the same thing about the same decisions. It's gross. It's really gross. But that's why I was saying, like, look at it this way. Some change is better than what we've had, right? We've had the same organizational structure the past 2 seasons. It hasn't worked. Bringing in Eric Staal, people were like, why are we doing that? That's so stupid. What kind of position is this? Who cares? It's another, like Jonah said in his rant, it's another body, it's another point of view. Maybe it'll help. And you bring in another guy, like a Lou Lamoriello. It comes with a lot of experience, and I know if he comes in, Karmanos leaves. On a numbers perspective, in a year's experience perspective, you're replacing him, but you're not replacing, people think Lou's past his prime, and they have valid reasons for saying that. I believe in some ways he is.
What reasons could
Have you watched Islanders hockey the past 6 years?
I don't think it has anything to do with the Islanders. I mean, his past, his prime years is still better than anything the Sabres have put together. I think it's just, Jesus Christ, the guy's in his 80s.
Didn't someone want Scotty Bowman to come in and be the president?
That was you saying that.
No, I didn't. That was a joke. That was a joke.
you.
That was a joke.
Anytime I've heard Scotty Bowman's name, it's been coming out of your mouth.
I thought we saw someone say that.
You're projecting.
We're like, he's 91.
It was you. I think you saw red and just started talking about old NHL executives.
No. I'm dumb. I'm not that stupid.
Next thing you know, I don't know who's the other. You'll have like Mike. You're gonna start saying that like Mike Keenan should come back and coach the team,
Mike Keenan,
or like Joe Quenneville. Oh wait, never mind. Can't do that.
He's on the West Coast. He was just hired. Welcome back to the league, Q.
Not that kind of episode. Not going to get into that. We got way too much to catch up on. No. Jesus, I don't even know where to start. I mean, we were kind of starting with the Lamoriello talk there, I guess. But anyways, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Sabre Report podcast. My name is Jonah.
I'm Christian.
And I'm JP.
And today is going to be, well, like I said, if you listen to the past 20 or so minutes, if you're including my little rant there, it's not a great point in the Sabres off season, and it really hasn't even began. I should bring up the fact that we are over a month removed from the last game of the season. So 4 or 5, maybe even 6 weeks. And one person in the whole organization has been fired. One single person. He wasn't a coach. Well, he wasn't he wasn't a part of the front office. He wasn't a scout. Wasn't a janitor. Wasn't the Zamboni driver. Ed Gannon, man, poor guy. Strength and conditioning coach. The one.
He got scapegoated so hard.
Oh my God! You guys know I called in last episode.
Yeah, they're gonna fire a random person in the organization.
No, I said it was gonna be the strength and conditioning coach. Like I said, it's so obvious. That
was predictable.
The most common theme, the one thing that kept being said throughout those exit interviews by the GM and the head coach was they didn't like their conditioning. Like,
isn't this the team that was doing push-ups in training camp last season, and everyone was saying,
was that not them?
Everyone was saying they were making it such a point that we need to be more conditioned. Whose fault is this? Because I don't think it's Mr. Gannon's.
Do you think he was watching the press conference and had no idea that this was coming? But he was just listening in and heard Lindy and Kevin keep talking about conditioning and being like, shit, wouldn't want to be the coach that was in charge of that. And he's just like, wait, that's my job.
It's like, oh, that's me.
The first rumblings of like the strength and conditioning stuff, I feel like it was kind of like, at least during the season, it was kind of like the Lindy and Kevin Blue and Gold Insights, where I was tweeting all this stuff. I feel like that's when it was like really put on radar. I think he was just reading those tweets and was like, wait, me? They're blaming the season on me? Like, of anything they could have done?
Wait, what? How much you want to bet he found out he got fired by looking at Twitter? We have parted ways with strength and conditioning coach. What?
Oh man.
They replaced him pretty quick though.
The friggin' strength, yeah. They had their eye on the next guy pretty quickly.
It's change, guys. It's
U.S.
change.
Development Program connection too. They're not too original.
Raving reviews from one Seth Appert.
Oh my God. Sources say Don Granato might be back soon too.
I would take him back in a heartbeat. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Really?
Dude, you could put Don Granato in Seth Appert's spot. I would trust him a million times more.
No, I completely agree with that. I just think, we kind of mess up the whole. Don't you think it would be awkward?
Mess up what? What are we messing up here?
Sorry. Yeah, never mind.
I was gonna say Donnie didn't have a good power play either. If you're replacing Seth, if you're replacing Donnie with Seth, both got the same results with their power play.
Don Granato, Seth Appert, and Matt Ellis all in one room.
Who let them cook? Absolute ass. Man, it is weird though, because looking back on this entire drought, 14 years, I feel like the one guy that's been fired in this organization that nobody has ill will towards is Don Granato. I'm serious.
I have no ill will towards Ed Gannon.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
I know you guys. I know everybody hates him. I know, like. Strength and conditioning, it was bad. It was awful. Cannot you know what? The guy tried his best.
What's he gonna tell him to do? Lift heavier?
Like, what does he say in his next interview? He's like, "Why'd you get fired from your last job?" I don't know. Like, they got mad. They got mad at me because the guy who tore his Achilles last year wasn't like set to. They blamed that on me.
Oh man, no, but seriously, man, like, does anyone here like? We all agreed that at the end of last season it was time for a change. But, like, as soon as he was fired, like, it wasn't, like, a big old celebration, mostly. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, good luck, you know, best of luck in your next endeavors.
It was hard to get too excited when you looked at the rest of the coaching staff that stuck around.
Yeah, that's true. Is Matt Ellis still in the organization? Because did they bury him somewhere?
Dude, he was in the press. What was it? It was like the Utah.
Oh, was he at the Utah game? That was him?
Well, remember when Pagula was making the rounds on that West Coast swing? And I feel like Utah was like the one game they actually showed this week because they probably were like, stop, please showing us on the broadcast.
The one where he turned around and just walked out of frame into the back of the suite after Utah scored.
Yeah, like you got Kevin Adams, Terry Pagula, you know, in a suite. Makes sense. Mike Bales, okay, he's the goalie coach. That makes sense. And you got Matt Ellis. Like, what is Matt Ellis doing on road trips? This guy got demoted last year. He's sitting in the suite. He's got the owner's ear.
Why? Is the only person we like firing as strength and conditioning coaches? Like, bro could be asked at his job and still have a...
I mean, if Matt Ellis still has his job, man, this guy must have been the worst strength and conditioning coach of all time. Must have had the guys like walking on the treadmill for 5 minutes and then sending them on their way.
Well, best of luck to. We wish him well.
Strength and conditioning coach.
Hey, man, you spoke it into existence. Speak something else into existence right now. Do it right now. Off the dome. Say something. Oh, what's happening next, Jonah?
Shit.
Give me a statement.
Shit.
Come on now. 3, 2, 1.
I got nothing.
Come on. All right, let's try JP. JP, hot take right now. 3, 2, 1.
Mitch Marner's coming to the Sabres.
Is he all right over there? He's just ignoring you.
I said Mitch Marner's coming to the Sabres.
That's not a hot take.
What? That is a hot take. No,
what's something that could happen
something
between this week and next week?
I'm looking at something right now. How long has Mike Bales been in the organization?
2019? 2020? I feel like it was Kruger era. Oh. Looks like might have lost JP over there.
God. This guy get his house built so he can get his own Wi-Fi.
We'll never know what he was going to say about Mike Bell. You know what? Let's take a second. Congrats to JP and his girlfriend building a house.
Good for them.
Growing up.
Adult mortgage. JP went from 3rd grade all the way to having a mortgage before the Sabres made the playoffs again. Elementary school, folks.
God. Well, I guess. Well, wait. He might be back.
You're not on the app, are you?
Don't keep us in suspense.
No.
What were you going to say about Mike Bales?
I just looked up. trying to look up Sabres goaltenders and their save percentages, and it decided to crash my freaking computer.
It just blew.
It's just
He just blew up.
It didn't blow like
He's looking
It
at
saw-
the. He got to the
Carter Hutton's save percentage and crashed out.
He got to
immediately.
he got to the Carter Hutton section of the Sabres goaltending history, and it just completely imploded. Oh, the jokes write
all right,
themselves.
I'm doing it on my phone. It's working a lot quicker. But yeah, he's been here since 2019. All right. Since then, I mean, I don't think Allmark really counts. Well, I guess he kind of does. He had a 912. Jonas Johansson 888, Carter Hutton 902, Tokarski 901, Subban 871, Arundel 893, UPL 898, James Reimer 899, Eric Comrie 882, Devin Levi 894, and Craig Anderson 902. This isn't some good goaltending has been an issue since Ryan Miller, okay? And
He's had one great season from the Sabres starter. in a
That's
year
what I'm
that
saying.
Really neutered their offense to
that's
do
what
it.
I'm saying. Why is his job so safe when he's genuinely done nothing with our goaltenders? If anything, I mean, I don't know how, development of goalies is so weird. That's why this whole Levi situation's been weird, because he was doing so good and now he wasn't doing good. It's well, maybe if we had a better goalie coach, maybe it would help. I don't know. He's proven nothing. He's proven nothing under his tenure with us. I mean, Linus Ullmark leaves and wins a Vezina. I mean, I don't know. He's someone who shouldn't be safe either. It's hard to really key in on a goalie coach, because at the end of the day, goalies are voodoo, but it's there's a reason we haven't had good goaltending in, a decade. And Mike Bell isn't exactly helping.
He might have a point, folks. He might.
Don't give him any ideas for next offseason. They're now we got to figure it out. We know the issue. It's the
Oh,
goaltending coach, guys.
God, forgot about that. Give Adams another year. Give everyone another year. We'll fire the goaltending coach this time. I don't know. Honestly, the way I think about it, I feel like if next season goes south, it could go one of two ways. One, everybody, the whole organization is blown up again. Or two, nothing changes. Either way, not good.
Both can be true. Everybody can be gone. And, well, it's funny because you say blow up, and it's is it a blow up to just not, renew any contracts? That's, the most Terry Pagula way of blowing up an organization. It's just
True.
I don't know. I guess we haven't totally acknowledged the fact that Kevin Adams is back as GM next season.
Yay. Yay. Hopefully with some help this time, guys. Don't worry. The cavalry's coming.
He's got help.
He's got an assistant
He's
now.
got somebody to organize his
Yeah,
emails
he's got
now.
a personal assistant. He's got a secretary.
You know what I think about? Or you remember, because this could tie into the Seth Appert being so involved and Lindy Ruff being so involved. Remember going back a couple of drafts. Remember when Jerry Fortin got all emotional talking about Kevin Adams, saying that he's very inclusive of everyone's thoughts and he wants everyone's opinions. Do you think he's doing that on a too broad of a basis? And he's listen, I think it's great to work with as many people as you can and get as many opinions as you can. But that could also lead to a lot of noise that's unneeded. And I think that's kind of what we're getting into. Is he being too nice?
He's halfway right. It's yes, you should be gathering the input from everybody, but he goes off. He doesn't make a decision for himself. He makes a decision to appease everybody else and make them feel like they're included. Look at their friggin' fourth line last year. What it was supposed to be last year. Who wanted Beck Malenstein?
I didn't even know he existed until we traded for him.
But no, I'm not. No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the fan base. Like, you're right. There's nobody that would respect to Beck, but there's nobody that really
Seth
would
Appert
want
did.
him. That's
Hershey
what
Bears.
that's what I'm getting at. So Seth Appert was telling Kevin Adams how his team was terrified of him, and then
He's telling ghost stories.
Seth Appert, he wanted Malenstein. Who do you think wanted Sam Lafferty? Former Pittsburgh Penguin.
Karmanos, yeah.
Okay. And who do you think wanted Nicholas Aube-Kubel?
The analytics guys.
Boom. There's your fourth line. And guess what? It lasted
A game.
2 games. Like, didn't Aube-Kubel get hurt the first game of the season
Yes,
in
he
Prague?
did.
That
Yep.
line was good in the preseason. I'll tell you though.
They were cooking.
That's their there is a case example rather than talking like wider roster. Their fourth line was built by appeasing each department.
Yeah, but don't a lot of teams kind of operate that way where each kind of department gets a guy that they like? It's kind of built in a situation like that. I mean, I might just be spewing BS, but I feel like I've heard that somewhere before.
Well, it's like I said, it's all in the GM's vision.
But yeah, fair. But it's weird how that works. They put all this thought into the fourth line just for Tyson Kozak and Krebs to just step in and be like, "Oh, this is actually working great."
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like Sam Lafferty, a guy who's been in the league for like 6-7 years now, loses his job to like what? He lost his job
Tyson
to
Kozak.
he lost his job to a 7th round pick. Like 2 months into the year. Like even
Tyson
Lindy was
Kozak's a
even
dog.
Lindy was done with him like 2 months in.
That's how you know Lindy knows ball, though.
And he's the only one who got a 2-year deal out of any of those guys.
Don't worry, Jonah. He'll be back next season.
But I mean, you're the whole roster is just it's built like that. It's built by plugging in puzzle pieces that were submitted by different parts of the organization.
Yeah, I mean, even think about when Donnie was here. Jordan Greenway was a Donnie guy. Like,
He was banging the table for a guy that he had coached like 5 years earlier.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There really is no overarching vision with the roster. It's just it's constructed on the foundation of saying we're gonna have everyone be included on this, guys, and you know what? I want everyone here to be proud that they're a Sabre. Well, me too, buddy. But when they don't win, nobody's proud of that nonsense.
Like, what do you think? What do you think the pitch for like? I don't know. Like, what do you think the pitch for like Beck Malenstein was? It's like Adams is asking like Sam Ventura, like, Sam, what does your team think about this guy? Kevin, honestly, this guy is a career AHLer. He's not going to make an impact in the NHL. And Kevin's just going like, okay. Seth, what do you think about this guy? It's like, all right, that's not what I wanted to hear.
We could recreate Zemgus Girgensons in the aggregate, fellas. How do we do it? Here's a name. Beck Malenstein.
The Beck.
And you know what? We've been joking about Beck. I think he had a respectable campaign.
Too much
I
this
hate.
season.
like
He's the
Beck.
GOAT.
I'd like him. It's just like the process it took for him to get here.
It was like trying to attract like Mitch Marner.
put that
Imagine the process it's going to take to get Mitch Marner to come here.
Oh my god! Did they put that in
If
the
that's
draft?
possible.
They put that in the draft embedded last year. Adams walked up to Lindy and he's like, "All right, we got that Beck Malenstein deal done." And Lindy just turns like, "Okay."
Dude, let me tell you
And
something now.
they left Adams telling him what the cost was out of the final video.
Dude, let me tell you something right now. If the Sabres somehow pull off the Mitch Marner signing in July, the media campaign that the Buffalo Sabres are going to go on, I'm talking embeddeds, jerseys, appearances at Bills games. I'm talking this guy is going to have his face plastered on the side of the building. If you think Beck Malenstein got a lot of talk, just wait until this guy shows up.
No, but that'll be the day that they sneak in like a, I don't know.
Seth
Sign,
Appert's been
Cody
extended.
Ceci to, like,
There'll be something to
they'll
kill
sign-
the
well, no,
completely
they'll
kill
sign,
the day.
They'll sign like Cody Ceci to a 2 year. That's what they did with the McLeod trade. Do you remember that? They trade for Ryan McLeod. Everybody's going nuts because, there's a ton of discourse about him and Savoy. And then the Sabres Twitter account just sneaks in the fact that they've re-signed Henry Jokiharju to a 1-year deal. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Evil.
I mean, he was an
Evil.
he was an RFA. He gave him the 1 year, But didn't help us too much.
It's like all the analytics guys are like high-fiving in the background, and Kevin's like, all right, good job on the McLeod trade, guys. Got another small piece of news. We got Henry for another year.
No, he just whispers over to the social media manager. He goes, just send the tweet out right now. They're not paying attention. This is a funny episode. We've just been cracking jokes the whole time.
You kind of got to have fun with this. We haven't even got. We've danced around Appert himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just know
We've danced around
soon as
any
we get-
actual news.
We've touched on most of what we have here.
We've loosely hit like like when you're doing like conditioning, you're doing like suicides and you're going like line to line, and like some guys are like touching. They're not going all the way to the line. They're like touching right before the line. I think that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Oh, they're not coming up full stop. They're just doing a quick little turn.
Or it's like when you're in practice and you're supposed to, when you're doing like regular suicides, you're stopping the blue line, goal line, red line, whatever. You got those people that like looping instead of stopping.
Shortcuts.
That's us.
That's what this organization is all about. Shortcuts.
Eric Staal, special assistant to the GM.
Like I said, people were complaining about this, and they were like, "What the hell is this gonna do?" Blah blah blah. Who cares? I mean, it's interesting. How much is it really gonna bring to the table? It's just it's another set of eyes. Whatever. It is what it is. He's obviously gonna want a front office role somewhere at some point. Guy needed a starting position.
Is this not?
Whatever.
Is this not one? Is this considered like an internship?
Pretty much.
It's a temp position.
Unpaid internship. Unpaid.
He just sets up Kevin's emails, and he's basically he's just an Outlook demon.
It is kind of
He
funny.
just knows his way around Microsoft
Even
Outlook.
when he was interviewed about it, he was like, "Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing." Like, what?
Is that what he said?
It's kind of what he was alluding to. He was like, "Yeah, I mean."
Is that like, because I know he was on Sabres Live. Is that what he said on
It's
Sabres
kind
Live?
of what he said.
I don't remember him saying
it was,
that.
He didn't directly say that, but like when they asked him what he was gonna do, he didn't really give a direct answer. He's like, yeah, like well, I mean, he just like retired from the NHL. Like he's trying to get his foot into his next step of his career. So like, I'm sure he doesn't know exactly what he would want to do in the front office, whether it's scouting or whether it's actually being in the front office, but. Kind of seemed like to me like they don't really know yet, but I mean
He's Kevin Adams' special assistant.
How do you hire a person and not have a role for? How do you not have a role for them?
He's gonna be bringing him tendies and fries up to the. He's gonna go get lunch for
He's like-
everyone.
every day he's doing something different. Like today he's like taste testing for any new like concession vendors.
No, he's actually gonna be. He's gonna be the Sabretooth next year. He's gonna be in the costume.
I mean, Jason Spezza is pretty much doing the same thing with the Leafs, so it's like it's not like this isn't like a
But
new
Jason,
new
when
thing.
Spezza was with the Leafs, I can vividly remember him like scouting. Like they would cut to him on TSN broadcast. He would have a clipboard there.
I'm sure that's what Stahl's going to be doing. I'm just saying they're going to figure out.
Given that their assistant GM, who did a lot of scouting, might be gone, you might be right. They're gonna have some vacancies there.
Imagine they immediately promote him to AGM.
No, they won't. They'll give him the same responsibilities and won't give him the title, so they won't have to pay as much.
That's economic, efficient, and effective.
There's this funny quote from Staal's press release. Although it was short, I loved my time in Buffalo, and as a player, I was
Oh
lucky to get a
God.
small glimpse of what makes the city such a special place and a terrific sports town.
He was here during COVID.
What was he
did not-
looking at?
No,
he
he
played
did
here
not.
during
There was no one in the
COVID.
stands. What is he talking about? He never saw a
Nobody
single.
saw this guy
He never
play.
saw a single person. He never saw a single fan. What is he talking about? That's the most. That is probably like one of the biggest gaslighting Sabres PR has ever done.
I mean, to be fair, maybe he was watching Josh Allen's 2020 season.
Nobody
could-
saw those
could
games
be.
either.
On TV.
Nobody
on
saw
TV.
those games.
Dude, that's such a crock of bullshit. I'm sorry. Good luck to Eric Staal and the organization. I hope he does good. Don't sell us this horse shit that you enjoyed your time here. Give me a break.
He looked.
It was one of the most.
I mean,
The
like I
fuck
miserable
outta here.
years.
Look, we. Well, it's not even just the year was miserable. I know it was 5 years ago, so time does its thing. He was miserable.
Mhm.
Like he genuinely. When he got traded here, he said the Wild. He was so shocked he got traded to the Sabres because he had a no trade list, and he didn't put the Sabres on his list. But I think he was quoted as saying he didn't think the Wild would end up trading him to the Sabres. He didn't think they'd do it.
He's looking at his agent's looking at his no trade list. He's like, "Oh, son of a bitch! I gotta break this news to him."
He's like, he calls Eric. He's like, Eric, I'm looking at your no trade list. Don't see Buffalo there. And Eric's just like, why? No reason. Just you might be getting a call in a few minutes.
You might want to put your house on the market, buddy. Oh my God, yeah. And he was here for a cup of coffee, and we traded him to Montreal, and he went on that run in the postseason. I hate again. Time does this thing. I arguably hated Eric Staal more than I hated Taylor Hall when he was here.
Yeah,
Because like I expected, like Taylor Hall, you knew he was a rental, but I expected like leadership out of Eric Staal. I expected.
Look, man. Taylor Hall during that season took a slap shot to the face and came back in the same game. Guy was cursed, had horrible luck, and did not play his best hockey either. But he gave it his best shot. I don't think Eric Staal gave it his best shot when he was here.
No, 100% no. People hated him when he left, and I was one of them. But again, water under the bridge. It was years and years ago.
Anyways, welcome back.
Same GM at the time. Somehow.
Well,
That's just insane framing. Eric Staal, probably the most miserable season of his life. That was 5 years ago. He comes back and the same guy as GM.
yeah. Well, when Kevin became the GM, he said Eric Staal was one of the first guys like I wanted to get in here. He's like one of the first guys I thought of. And now it's like, oh, here we go. Like now he retires. Oh, he thinks of him again. Like it's the
Time is a flat circle.
The Carolina Hurricanes Cup run team.
They're infesting. They're infesting our front office. It sickens
Yes,
me.
they are.
Mhm.
It sickens me. I could stomach Adams. He's from the area. I can stomach Karmanos. He's got experience. Can't stomach Eric Staal. This disgusts me. But in all seriousness, I know we've taken quite a sarcastic approach to a lot of this episode thus far. But look, I don't hate it. Like I don't hate it. It's just like okay, fine. What? Like I'm not. It's a new set of eyes. It is a former player, a very well-respected player. That's can really only help. I mean, whether this guy is scouting for the team or is working for the ticket office, he's going to help you no matter what. So Okay.
He's going to be a
enough.
scalper by season's end outside the arena selling bootleg tickets. Just kidding.
He's going to be working at that hot dog stand right outside the arena.
Dude, I've never tried that place. I've always wanted to. It looks, low-key, it looks good. I've never tried it, but it looks good.
That does look like it'd be right up your.
If it doesn't, hey, you know what? It probably doesn't cost $10.
It's true.
So
It's true. I do.
You ever see that inside? You ever see that inside the NBA where he's like, oh, I won't say anything bad about the street meat.
Oh,
It's like, yep.
yep. I do wonder with Eric Staal if like maybe like once they find out like what he's good at, pretty much like what he. I think how he kind of worded it was like I don't know what my passion is like for a front office role yet, which he hasn't been in a front office, so it's like I get what he was trying to imply, but I wonder if he'll have like more player interaction. I mean, like he just retired. He was a captain, I think, for multiple teams. Like maybe he could help out in that role, talking to players. I don't know.
Dude, the funniest thing about what you just said, he's got no experience. He doesn't know what he's going to be doing. We don't know what he's going to be doing. And yet, the Buffalo Sabres hired this guy. What? What the hell is going on?
I can't believe we need to find that quote. So much of what we're talking about is based off of the fact that he said he doesn't know what he's going to be doing. We need to find it.
Is that the only one?
I don't know what
If
to
he
do with
actually
my
said
hands.
that, if he actually said that in front of a camera, oh my god,
It's golden. Add it to the iceberg.
Splice
Well,
this
JP's
in. We'll find it after. Splice it in. Do your editing skills.
Okay.
We gotta find it because I'm disappointed that once again I'm the only one who listened to Sabre stuff that happened. It seems like.
all right.
No, I did. I just
thought
don't
you
remember
did.
Listen,
hearing
sometimes, look, we have recorded one episode in the past, probably month. I've needed this break. Some days you just can't stomach it.
that. You just need a day off,
Just need a
or
break.
a couple
Jonah's
weeks off.
mind wasn't in the right place the day Eric Staal got hired, so we'll give him a pass.
He's about to drive his car into an embankment.
That was like one of the better parts of my day. When JP was talking about how he was framing it like, oh, he'll figure out what he's good at. He's gonna be like Ken Griffey Jr. Just randomly becomes a photographer for like, just starts like you see him at the Masters now. He's taking photos for them. Like it's gonna be Eric Staal. He's gonna become like a videographer.
Yeah, he's freelancing right now. That's what he's doing. He's not getting paid for any of this. He's
Take Jay
freelancing.
Moran's job and just be the PA announcer for the arena.
This has been funny. This has been really funny.
This is the polar opposite of probably what anybody thought they were clicking into today. Other than the rant for Jonah, it's been all
I feel like the
sarcasm.
rant teed this up pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. People are they're gonna click on this episode and they're gonna be like, "Wait, is it just Jonah? And why do I hear a throughway under him? Is he crashing? Is he crashing out or crashing into it?
It's like-
Crashing into a guardrail?"
You know the song "Stand" by Eminem?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that one part in the song. I'm sure some people know what I'm talking about. I can tell JP's confused. Little homework for you. Just listen to the song "Stand" by Eminem. You'll understand.
I could hear you yelling the lyrics at your windshield as you're just speeding up.
Kyle Poso supposedly said no to joining the organization.
Thank God. Thank God. I think
Thank
I think
God.
we've paid. I
Really?
think we paid that guy. Yeah, you know what? You know what? I think we paid
How is
that
this
guy
any
enough
different than the
money.
Eric
Doesn't
Staal thing?
deserve any hate.
Well, who cares? You know what? You know what? Kyle Oposto's saying no. I don't care. Okay, if it was for family reasons or whatever.
We took another job.
I've
That's what makes this notable.
I've had enough of that guy. All right, I've really had enough of that guy. Going back to, remember when he said, "Oh yeah," he basically said he knew the season was cooked before it even like a few games into it, and decided not to do anything.
He did
yeah,
say that.
great captaincy, buddy. And he goes, we trade him to Florida, and he gets to lift his fucking Make-A-Wish cup.
This
Get the hell out of here.
This is undeserving. That is undeserving.
No, I've had enough.
You
of
have
Kyle
more
Okposo,
hate in
bro.
your heart for Kyle Okposo than Eric Staal.
That's
That is
crazy. Kyle,
I don't know
At
whether
least
to be
Kyle Staal
impressed
here's
or
the
worried.
thing.
for the Sabres.
Here's
It's
the
Eric
thing.
Staal.
Here's the thing. I'm not like an Eric Staal fan by any means. All
You
I'm
shouldn't
saying
be.
is, no, of course I'm not. Okay, I
You
know
know how
what
this
happened
man
in
is intertwined.
2006.
I was gonna say
I know what happened in 2006. I'm
I
very
would hope
very
so.
well aware. All I'm saying
19
is
years
it is
ago.
it is a new role in the organizational hierarchy. Kyle Okposo played that role being the Sabres captain. He worked with Kevin Adams pretty closely on a lot of different things. I'm not saying he had any pull with the roster or anything else. He clearly did not do his
no, he
job.
definitely had pull. Who do you think wanted Eric Johnson?
Then perfect. Okay. He had pull even worse.
I was gonna say, what were we talking about last episode? Is that there was former players supposedly that were upset Eric Johnson wasn't getting more playing time. I wonder.
And the one embedded video where he's like talking to all the young guys saying that this town is dying for a winner, and then proceeds to do absolutely friggin' nothing, and then goes to Florida, wins a cup, and then rejects
this
a
is
position
undeserved.
back
This
with
is
the
ex-
organization he was
This
saying.
is unbelievable amounts of revisionist
This is
history.
very undeserved. Very, very
done.
undeserved. He devoted himself to the Sabres.
Why is it undeserved?
He devoted himself to the crest while he was here. The last year,
He did a really good job of it, didn't he?
yeah, it's his fault. The fourth liner captain. It's his fault why we suck. Our fourth liner.
Yeah, well, he sure didn't help. I think this really all stems back to the original contract he signed, because for so many years everyone was always like, he's making $6 million. And don't get me wrong, $6 million back in 2016. Like today, that's what, like $8 million, maybe 8.5. This all stems from like just everyone for the longest time. I'm not saying that.
You just said it all stems from that.
It stems from the contract he signed, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's not living up to his pedigree
almost
and what we
died.
signed him for," which was true.
The dude almost couldn't walk
Okay,
down
he
the
was out for how long?
stairs.
Sidney Crosby got concussed too.
Oh
Damn it,
my
he came
God.
back.
Put this man on mute. This is undeserved hate towards Okposo. The last year,
we need like a time.
I get it.
We need like a timeout.
Like I get it. Even like Jonah turned on Kyle at the end. Like I get that. Okay, but other than the last year, he devoted himself to the crest. Okay, undeserved hate. I personally, it doesn't bother me that he said no. Like whatever. Like it is what it is. Like I don't blame him.
No, it doesn't bother me either.
When I get to the log line, when I get to the log line section of the iceberg this summer, you're not allowed to take any enjoyment in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I won't.
You
Trust
you
me.
are not allowed to reminisce.
I won't be reminiscing.
What a
What is
shame.
there really to reminisce about in this iceberg video? Is there really good reminiscing that needs to be done in
Yes.
this? Other than the Mark Pezic butt goal, like that's something
Risto
fun to
running
reminisce
into
about.
The boards.
That's that's funny, but for different reasons.
Lou Lamoriello in the Buffalo airport.
Yeah.
No, that picture did go hard.
I don't know. I think it's pretty notable that he said no to a job and then took another job a few months later. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
Where
saying.
did-
No,
Oh.
but that's kind of
He took it with
that's
the
another reason why
NHL
I
though,
kind of
right?
just got set off by that. You know.
Oh, yeah, he took a spot with the Players Association.
I don't know.
Are we do we think we're ready for the
We were.
I mean,
Are
we've gone
you-
like
are
we've
you
gone
ready?
like we've gone like an hour in here, and we're not. I promised the people a Seth Appert rant, and they got a little bit of it. Are we ready?
It's all
Yeah,
you,
this
man.
This is more you. Yeah,
This is your bread and butter.
I want to frame this first by saying I feel like we, as podcasts and even on Twitter, have been kind of one of the leading drivers of the Seth Appert hate to the point where people are actually pushing back on us, saying it's too much. I just want to preface this by saying, before the season started, I think we could all say we're like fans of him. We all saw him as being the future head coach, and we were pretty much fine with it. We liked what he did with the Amherst. We were a fan of him being an assistant coach. But everything since then has not gone good, and that's why the Seth Appert hate has just absolutely escalated to maybe unreasonable levels, but we used to be fans of him. But, Jonah's obviously the biggest critic of him, but
You disgust me.
am I wrong though? We were all
You're covering for him, and it's not.
I'm not
necessary.
covering for him. I'm saying we weren't always
like
haters
Calaposa.
of Seth Appert. There's reasons why we do not like him as a head coach now. That's all I'm saying.
JP, just come out as Alex Jones at this point, bro.
We got one of our biggest fans saying that in our comments too. JD Buffalo saying, "When's JP gonna out himself as Alex Jones?"
You do it to yourself. You do it to yourself.
I don't think anything I just said was crazy. We were fans of him, and then he led a shitty power play, so we don't like him anymore. That's pretty much what it is.
That is not.
Oh,
what it is.
Go ahead. We were fans of him before the season. Is that wrong?
Were we fans of him when he was rumored to be the next head coach of the team?
We weren't.
No.
We did not want him to be the next head coach, but we saw him
Why
as
not?
being the next head
Why
coach
not?
after Lindy Ruff because he had no head coaching experience at the NHL level.
I don't think I would not go as far to say that we wanted him to be the next head coach.
I'm not saying we wanted him to be, but we definitely saw it happening, and we were fine with it. We were saying he's going to be groomed under Lindy for 2 years, and then he'll
a lot
be
of
the
we's in this
No,
conversation.
just go ahead. Go into your rant. I don't care.
We?
JP did put it correctly that this has been building, I think, from our side of things for, I would say, just a little bit earlier than a lot of us. At least on the power play front, I feel like it's a well that I've just gone back to a lot. But now that the season's over, the dust has settled. It's let's just get into the friggin' report. Frank Seravalli, that same day that all this front office news was coming out, drops a little piece because the front office changes was the talk of, obviously, the Sabres realm. Talked a little bit about the senior advisor stuff, Kevin Adams coming back as GM, yada, 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 but also slipped this paragraph into his blog. Sources also indicated that assistant coach Seth Appert, formerly head coach of the AHL's Rochester Americans and the U.S. National Development Program, left out a quick little pit stop in RPI, wonder why that was, has also taken an increased, if not unofficial, role with a voice in hockey operations, decisions, and scouting. Just going to surmise that in the best way that I can. The assistant coach of the Buffalo Sabres has taken an increased, if not unofficial, role in hockey operations, decisions, and scouting. Look, I said this in the rant. This is not news, but to hear it officially, I mean, basically confirmed. What the hell, man? The assistant coach of the Buffalo Sabres, the assistant coach has a unofficial role in hockey operations decisions and scouting. I don't even think I need to like break that down anymore. Like I'll just keep saying the same phrase over again because it's what an absolutely ridiculous statement.
Yeah. I wish I was able to be dog shit at my job and get a promotion to 15 other positions.
Doesn't he get enough going on? Being an assistant coach,
buddy. Don't you have enough to worry about
being
right
a power
now?
play coach, like
Just fix
The last
just
thing
fix
he
the
needs,
power play,
the
asshole.
last thing he needs is more responsibility at this point in time.
There's enough on this man's plate.
The assistant coach. The assistant coach is getting more power in roster decisions. I can't believe what I'm hearing. But like I said, like this isn't new information. Beck Malenstein, who do you think wanted him? And oh my God, did you watch the trade deadline embedded? Who wanted Josh Norris? Seth Appert, because he coached him over half a decade ago. They're basing roster decisions on their assistant coach's opinion of players that he coached 7 years ago.
All of this really just stems back to Kevin Adams not knowing what he's doing. It just seems like every new piece of information that comes out, it just confirms the fact that he really just has no clue. And he just needs as much help as he can get.
it's not even like
The advisor,
Why
Seth
him, though?
Appert,
Why
all
him?
this stuff.
Of all the people. Like if it was Lindy, like I mean it is to an extent it's kind of Lindy, but if it was just Lindy, okay. What is the deal with Seth Appert? Why is this guy the golden child of the organization for some reason? If not for Terry Pagula, this guy would have been the head coach this year.
Thanks, Terry.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna look in the camera straight while I say this. Terry, thank you.
wow.
Thank you for using
Clip that.
your head.
Clip that.
Chat, clip that.
Thank you.
That is the
This has so much-
121 episodes in. That is the first time you've probably heard the words "Thank you, Terry Pagula."
Thank you for actually using your head and like getting an experienced head coach in here. Like I know it went to hell, and that is the last thing I'll thank you for God knows how long. But thank you for not letting Kevin Adams make that mistake. Okay, nice compliments to Terry over. That said, why is this guy getting roster influence? Everybody was joking about that Adams presentation, you know, the PowerPoint, you know, like Adams putting together like PowerPoint slides. Like with Seth Appert, like he had to have been a part of those. Like he's like 15 slides in. All right, now we're at the Seth Appert point of this presentation. Okay, I know the power play didn't go so well, but let me tell you this: Seth Appert, great hockey mind, great hair. Great personality, great friend. I think we got to keep her here, Terry. Doesn't cost a lot either.
Terry, do you know just how powerful the power of friendship is? Because this guy, he is a true friend. Don't check to see what percentile his power play was in last season. This guy is a true friend, and if any of you guys say anything bad about him, I'm going to get really upset. Because it's the only thing he gets upset about is Seth Appert criticism. Why does that get under his skin more than anything? More than criticism about himself? Or even like, maybe even like, I don't know if anyone's criticized Karmanos, but like Ruff has gotten his criticisms. Why are we defending Seth Appert this hard? At least him. Why?
I truly do not understand where Adams finds. I don't know why he has such a soft spot for this guy. Why he respects like this isn't. It's not like Seth Appert's some revered coaching prospect. Like he had a good, what was it, 2021, 21, 22, 23, 4 years with the Amerks? He had a good 4 years. But aside from that, I mean, he was a U.S. development coach, and then he was pretty bad for RPI. This is not like, it wasn't like he was like Sheldon Keefe, who was turned the Marlies into a juggernaut and won a friggin' Calder Cup before getting promoted to the NHL. They were fine. They had winning seasons, few deep playoff runs, but nothing to like garner this. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was at Harbor Center for a Canisius hockey game, and it was when MSU was in town. So, obviously, you had Maxime Sturbeck and Patrick Geary playing for MSU. And day one, it was Adams was there, Fortin was there, and so was Appert. And day two, it was just Seth Appert. Like, no, I know he's like the AHL coach, but I mean, just even to have, just the fact that he was the only one there on the second day. I don't know. Maybe that's nitpicking, but
Well, it's not even like those guys are like going to be graduating to the Amherst next year, and he's trying to see what he's getting. Like, those guys are
he's
still
not even
in college.
He's not the Amherst coach anymore.
Well,
He's not the Amherst coach.
Yeah.
It's like he's scouting guys that he might never see.
It's weird though with him getting, roster decisions or getting more power. It's like, this isn't 2020 where Terry just fired the entire staff other than Kevin Adams. We arguably have our biggest front office, probably of Sabres history. And like, we have an assistant coach helping make decisions. Like, it's not because of the lack of personnel. It's for whatever reason they just love Seth Appert.
I don't get it, man. I really don't. I don't get a lot of things about this organization, though, so, just another one under the pile,
They know more than us.
I guess so. I guess they just know everything and we know nothing. They got it all figured out over there.
I think they've said that before. I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
I think they've said they know.
We know more than the common fan does. I know you do, buddy, and you guys have done a great job
Kim
of
said
it.
that a while back.
What was your record last year? Was that when they were firing Bottrell?
That was
Actually, it might have been, yeah.
that was the Botterill fired press conference. So all their questions were tailored towards that, and then they hopped off the phone call and fired everybody from their organization, and didn't have to answer any questions about that.
Kevin fired everybody.
Oh, that's true. Kevin Adams had to fire everybody, and they never answered questions about that.
Dude,
that was the last time they were at a press conference.
I gotta do a deep dive on that day, because I mean, like,
I have to do a deep dive on that day.
I'm just wondering, like, how many people did he fire?
I think it was like 50.
In my head, I got
Almost
like
50
70.
people? I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many? I'm trying to remember how many people like worked at PSE. Was it like it was a big
Jesus.
company in terms of like what they did, but I don't think it was like this huge conglomerate. Let me see. Let me see. PSE fired 21 employees and furloughed 104 others.
I wonder how many of those furloughs they brought back.
Well, they did accidentally fire someone and then brought them back.
Yeah, that was when COVID hit, right?
Yeah, that was
Or a few months after COVID hit.
April, I think.
It's in the thick of it.
120 people. 120 people were affected by that, and they never answered any questions. Funny.
I feel like we've gotten off track.
It's like It's watching a car crash in slow motion because you can just tell it. Like if you've been watching from last year, the fact that this guy was ever in consideration for a head coaching job is just unbelievable. This guy 100 RPI in his time with the program, 152, 221 losses, and 48 ties. And that's his longest coaching stop. I don't know, man. I can't believe that this is where the organizational tree is at. Jason Karmanos might be leaving the organization too. Didn't touch on that.
I feel like we did.
We might have
all over the place.
grazed over it. I mean, that's just straight up a huge loss.
That's a huge blow if he
a
walks
huge
out
loss.
the door.
He has been, other than Kevin Adams and I guess Jerry Fortin, like this has been the guy in the front office, not named Kevin Devine, that has been here for the longest amount of time with this front office. I mean, he's the reason Sam Ventura is here. And look at and those two have been mainly in charge of the AHL team. Look at what the AHL team has done since he's got here. Seth Appert's first season with the Amerks was during the COVID season, and I don't think the AHL had a playoffs that year, but I don't think the Amerks were going to make the playoffs. I think they were like I think the AHL played like 30 games that year, but weren't a great team. And then look at what's happened since. Look at what that team is right now. Right? Because when Seth Appert was head coach, he had Jack Quinn and JJ Peterka. Like obviously that you put those two in the AHL, those two are going to take you places. And even the next season, you had Kulik, you had Roseanne. Both of those, Kulik being gone this year now, and Roseanne's obviously still on the team and has been in there for a number of years, but by far, like probably the youngest team that the Amerks have had in terms of prospects, and they've still been able to find glue guys and build a defense that's actually competent. I mean, even just somebody like Mason Jobst, finding those types of players. That's what Jason Karmanos and Sam Ventura have done. And Karmanos is maybe gone. Maybe. According to the Buffalo News, his future with the organization is uncertain.
Would you blame him for leaving if he got a GM job somewhere else?
Well, obviously not.
Well, I mean,
GM job.
obviously not.
Well, I'm saying,
I
like,
would-
would you be pissed at the organization?
I would, because there's a simple solution to that. You make him your
Yeah.
GM.
Which I think is what Joan and I genuinely thought was going to happen. I don't know if Christian thought the same, but I thought he was going to be promoted, and Ebner was.
If you would have asked me a week ago, I probably would have said it just kind of felt like he was moving in that direction, but should have known, like, the sensible decision was not the one they ended up making. And here are the consequences. I mean, look, maybe it is, maybe it's family reasons, or maybe something's come up, but as of now, it just kind of looks like he just might be leaving the organization. And to me, it just screams he didn't get the opportunity he wanted. And, the organization he works for is a joke. And if he sticks around and the team has another bad season, which, by the way, he doesn't have as much influence on the roster, compared to the Amerks. He's fighting with the analytics team. He's fighting with the assistant coach. And then he's fighting with, like the pro scouts and whatnot. He doesn't have a lot of power to, like, dictate where this team is going to go next season. And if they're bad, which recent history would dictate probably not going to go well, he's going to lose his job anyways. So
Yeah, those are all good reasons, at least from his personal standpoint on why not to be here. Sucks for us though because we have to talk about it.
That is the curse. That is the gig, isn't it?
Yeah, we're coming up on 3 years of doing this. Hasn't been too much good. It started off pretty good.
We had some fun at the start.
We did. It's been a rough 66% of the time.
I feel like I've had my fill. I've had my
Yeah, me
fill of
too.
front office talk.
It's kind of funny. I feel like
All
the
that's-
announcement of Kevin being back, it wasn't really. I don't even know if it was Buffalo News or.
There was no announcement. You know what the evil part about like the whole sorry to interrupt, but like do you know what the evil part about like the whole I might like I mean I guess Adams didn't say, but he just said like hey, I'll be meeting with Terry and we'll talk about where to go from there. They don't have to make an announcement. Like, they don't have to do anything. The only announcement that comes is if a new GM is put in place, and if they aren't, then they don't have to address it because they never promised changes could be coming.
Well, I was gonna say the announcement was basically the draft lottery. Once they put on the camera and Kevin Adams was there, which is like we shouldn't have expected anything different. But it's like that was like the confirmation to me at least that like yeah they're not changing anything.
Yeah, it was kind of the soft launch into this whole thing.
Yeah, didn't the Islanders just send like a random alum?
No, he was
Yeah, it was a alum from the.
He was-
no, he's there. Isn't he?
he
there?
was something in the organization, maybe player development or
But
something.
was he on the Cup teams? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yes.
Christian?
Definitely wasn't
Yes,
alone.
he was on
but
the Cup
he was
teams.
employed by the
I forget.
Islanders.
Forget who it was. Yeah, we should have. JP's right. That basically was the confirmation because I think everything came out the next day. All
After
right.
the NHL took my boy away from me, Michael Misa.
Yeah, the Sabres.
Worst case
Sabres
scenario.
will be worst case scenario.
We had greater
the
chance to win the lottery than for this to happen.
The Sabres will be selecting 9th overall in the draft,
Started at 7.
which
least
I
it's
think
not 8th.
going in had a .00. Maybe it wasn't.
I
that
don't think
low.
it was that low.
It was a low percentage.
Yeah, it was a low percentage.
It was a low percentage.
Dropped 2 spots.
To what? To move down to 9?
Yeah.
I think it was like
I
5.9.
was gonna say I think it was like 5%, but like
To get to second, it was 6.5.
yeah, worst case scenario happened that night.
At least we're not picking 8th, the elusive cursed 8th overall pick.
It's true. But hey, I mean, at least whatever. The Islanders won. Who really cares? Sharks are gonna get Misa. Like, good for them. Their forward core is gonna be sweet. So I can't be too upset. But it's not like Chicago or the Penguins or Boston won. They're saving that for next year. But
Yeah, for Gavin
Yeah.
McKenna.
but still, worst case
Yeah,
scenario
I'm-
that we drop twice.
Yeah. Two teams winning from behind you that's tough. Tough way to go.
I was
Good for the Islanders though.
I was happy, like at least it wasn't like the Flyers or someone else right in front of us, because it's like, what was I saying at the end of the season? We were winning these meaningless games, and it's gonna lose us Michael Misa. Didn't really matter at the end
Well,
of the
didn't
day.
somebody put out like if the Sabres had won
Yeah,
like one of their matchups against the Islanders,
Yes.
they would have been in the same spot.
yeah, which didn't really make sense to me because they were still what? We had the 7th best odds. They were 10th. Like, would we have really, if we won one game, we would have gone up 3 spots?
I don't know.
Maybe
the
it had
math.
something to do with the number combinations or something.
Yeah. They only needed one. Number 2.
It was right there.
Needed one number.
Probably another split second, and it might have been ours.
Yeah, I did see that screenshot. It was right behind the final
Yeah.
ball. Tough.
It's kind of cool how
Tough
they
way to go
did
about it.
the draft ladder, though. I kind of liked it. Other than
Yeah.
after the first pick happened, they didn't show anything for the second pick, which I didn't like.
And what was that about?
Was
What was
not
the point
a
of
fan
that?
Like, you could have easily interviewed the guy from the Islanders after you announced the second pick. That was the only thing I didn't like.
Just classic NHL, man. They always do they do something good, but they always find a way to like screw something about it up.
It's like, yeah, this is a great thing, but what if it wasn't so great?
That's pretty much what it is. It's like, hey, we got all these outdoor games. What if we don't market it to anybody? What if nobody knows that the game's going on until like you're scrolling through Spectrum and you're like, wait, there's a game on today and it's outside?
It was
The Winter Classic. What a great idea. What if we didn't have it in a winter location?
yeah. What if the ice was melting?
The
while they're
NHL,
playing?
our day.
This isn't
Yeah.
Holiday Twin Rinks.
the
This is
Yeah, the NHL, New Year's Day. That's our day. The NBA has Christmas. NFL has Thanksgiving. What if we put it on New Year's Eve instead?
What if we switched it from a holiday that was completely set in stone, everybody is always off, and we moved it to 5 o'clock on a day where people have plans? Genius.
Now you're cooking.
Stay with
now you're
me now.
cooking.
At least this draft.
All right,
lottery,
last.
I feel like it was the least controversial way it could have gone. At least it wasn't like the NBA draft lottery that just happened.
What? What are you talking about? 2 teams from the bottom.
Okay, but I'm saying at least it wasn't like people weren't really claiming it was rigged. Okay, I will
Well, the
go out
NBA
there.
very obviously rigs their drafts.
That's what I'm saying. At
Even
least it wasn't that
LeBron
way.
said he thought LeBron thought that he was. He said on his interview on Pat McAfee, he was saying how he thought the draft he was taking in was rigged because he went to Ohio.
Yeah. At least we don't got that storyline this year.
I don't know. Utah winning was crazy.
Yeah, that was.
Okay, last Sabres thing to touch on here. It's kind of becoming a conversation with Bowen Byram. Things aren't looking the most optimistic for his future. New agency, which is always it's a behind the scenes thing, but usually that spells change, and especially heading into summer where he needs a new contract, it definitely raises an eyebrow. Then supposedly, maybe, according to the After the Whistle guys, he had sold his current house in Buffalo. So could be true, could not be, but I would say that this future, it doesn't seem like there really is one in Buffalo for Byram.
He's gone.
Do you think he gets an offer sheet?
I don't know. What team would offer sheets? I feel like of all the people that offer sheet, I mean, hey, if you want to offer sheet Bowen Byram, be my guest. Hello?
Yeah, I was.
Is it lagging?
Am I lagging bad?
I
or-
don't know. Something happened there. Okay.
Well, how many teams in the NHL would he go to and he would become a number one defenseman like he wants to be? There has to be maybe like two or three, maybe, like not even.
The Blackhawks and maybe
Would he even be the guy? Like, would the Blackhawks even want him to be the guy?
him and Levshinov, and then who do the Ducks have?
I mean, Jackson Lacombe is sick. I think maybe he could go he could be like the perceived guy, but he's not the best player on that core. Philadelphia.
The Sharks?
Philadelphia is like another one
I was gonna say the Flyers.
where it's like
They have
yeah,
Risto.
they have
What are you
Risto.
talking about?
like they got Cam
They have
York, who I think
Drysdale,
is
though,
better, but yeah, I guess he's basically. I feel like he's kind of just Byram, right? He's just another version of that. I don't know. There's not a lot of spots that he can go and be the number one, but in Buffalo, he's not even the number two. So, it was something that I think I was glad to see as the season was winding down, that I don't think he spent any time on either Rasmus Dahlin or Owen Powers, on their opposite sides. Yeah, obviously, in the case of Power was out the last 10 games, or 6, 7 or so games, and you got to see. But him and Connor Clifton as a pair, it just did not go well. And I think you got a solid idea of what Bowen Byram is, and it's a player that is a complement to a player better than him. And when Evolving Hockey is projecting Byram to make upwards of $8 million on a long-term deal, not an ideal scenario for the Sabres.
And package him in a trade. The organization's good at doing that.
Their most likely outcome for a Byram contract, the most likely outcome is 8 years at $7.986 million.
That's insane.
Hell no. Nope. I'm good. I get the offensive upside, but it's just I don't understand where that projection number comes from.
I can't see anybody giving him a contract like that.
One-year contract is at $5 million. 2 years at 5.4. 3 years at 6.5. 4 years at 6.1. 5 years at 6.8. 6 years at 7.6, and 7 years at 7.4.
Isn't that deal like basically the Montour deal that didn't Montour get similar to those numbers?
I feel like didn't Montour get $49 million? Didn't he just get a 7x7?
So it's like, how would he get more than that?
Cap's
going up. I mean, I've brought it up before. The most likely comparable for him is the Jacob Chychrun contract. I mean, Chychrun signed an 8x9, and Chychrun's a power play guy, so obviously he's not going to get that much, but Byram had more even strength points than him this season.
When you're playing next to Rasmus Dahlin most games.
Certainly helps. I don't know. I think him, if he's to go, I feel like last year was the summer that the Sabres, quote unquote, tinkered with their forward group. Like, it was the forward overhaul. And they made a lot of changes last year. McLeod addition, new fourth line, Jeff Skinner gone. Didn't do nearly enough. But I think that was their feeling on that. I think this is very obviously the summer they're going to do some stuff with their defensive core. I mean, we've seen the numbers game with the forwards. You already have 12 forwards locked in. And I think that's if you're bringing Jack Quinn back. So, like, if Jack Quinn's gone, that's really the only guy you're kind of taking out. And obviously your goalies, I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think they're planning for anything other than Luukkonen and Levi to man the crease, especially with Levi just being a monster again in the AHL. So it definitely feels like, okay, hey, Byram needs a new contract, is kind of a production, or he's a product of his partner. Matthias Samuelsson is pretty clearly, I feel like he's pretty clearly done with the organization, and then you get into your maybes with a guy like Connor Clifton. I don't know. I guess that's just my gut feel for now. Do you agree? Yes? No?
Yeah, sure. I agree. I don't this.
Thanks.
They have to go and overhaul the defense, man. It's like we've tried it so many times with the same somewhat iteration of the defense core. You got to go out and you got to get some real defensive dogs. I mean, like look at the Maple Leafs. Like how many people thought Oliver Ekman-Larsson was going to turn into like a horse for that team? It's just this team hasn't had issues scoring goals at 5v5. The special teams I'm just going to omit in this conversation for now.
How come?
But the team defense hasn't been great by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, it was
I
funny
think
when
they really just need to go out. They just need to go out and get some low event defensive shutdown guys on your back end.
Well, we say there needs to be an overhaul of the defense core. Well, they already brought back their 7th defenseman, so that's not changing for the 5th year in a row.
That's just Jacob Rayson. You're a good soldier, but I don't know why we resigned you in the middle of the season.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about as the lottery was approaching, or honestly, just all season. How here we are again, Sabres in the lottery conversation when there's a left-handed defenseman projected to go first overall. And like, hey, it's true, but at the same time, the only 2 playable defensemen you have on your roster, you selected first overall. So it seems to be like the only path to success. So if anything, you should be rooting for it. I mean, it's over now, but Kevin Adams has a lot to prove because his defensive additions have been subpar, to say the least, for guys not named Owen Power. I shouldn't. Byram can be a really effective player for you. I think it's just the team's not built to complement him right now. And I don't think they're ever going to with him on the roster. So that's where that stands. Any other contracts you guys want to get a little insight into specifically?
There's not much else to really talk about. Like, there's no one else. No other
Not at
like
the moment.
contracts.
It's a lot of speculation.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the offer sheet compensation thing came out today.
I didn't really read it. Of all the teams to do an offer sheet, don't think this is going to be one of them.
Well, we also don't have our 2nd round pick, so we can't even like do any big offer sheets anyway.
Wait, we don't have our 2nd round pick? What happened?
Seth, what did we do with it?
Seth, where's the 2nd round pick?
Not that. Well,
It seems
I
like
guess
you
Seth
already
was
know where.
involved in this one. Josh Norris trade.
Would you guys like to know what a Zach Benson 8-year deal looks like?
Right now?
Yep.
8 years, $6.5 million.
$6.23 million.
It's a deal. Give him
Get it
6.5.
done.
Let's ride.
You just get it done. There's no reason you shouldn't do it right now. Zero reason. Because they have
Send that man immediately.
no reason you shouldn't do it.
Look, I will say I agree, but we were saying the same exact thing before the season with Jack Quinn. I'm not saying situations are going to
Don't
be the
even-
same, but we were saying legitimately the
Yes,
same thing.
You're kind of comparing the two.
Jack Quinn did not have the defensive numbers that this guy's put up. Also, Jack Quinn's not coming off. I mean, Zach Benson's not coming off an Achilles tear and a broken ankle when we were talking about contract extension for him last season. So it's a lot safer of a bet.
I agree. I'm just saying we said the same exact thing for Peterka and Quinn last year, and neither have happened, and neither might not even happen. I mean, who knows what happens with Peterka? I mean, I feel like that's kind of an underrated storyline that's getting overlooked since it's more about Byram, but like, who knows what happens with Peterka?
Would you like to know what an Alex Tuck extension looks like?
5 years at 8.5.
Most likely is 8 years at
How old
$9.1
is this
million.
guy? I love Alex Tuck, and I think he needs to be. You need to extend this guy immediately. But 8 years, wouldn't that bring him to like age 37 or 38?
It would.
Like, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll do 6.
I thought you meant $6 million for a second.
No.
That's what I thought you meant.
He's getting at least
That's a
$8.5 million.
hometown discount.
Yeah. He goes 1 year deal 7.3, 2 years is 7.4, 3 years is 8.4, 4 years jumps to 9.
Yeah.
Years 4 through 8, it's all above $9 million.
I mean, it's not like that's not deserved. I mean,
7 years has him at 9.7.
God, that's a lot.
We just need official word that the cap, we need it on Puckpedia that the cap is up here now.
What's the Peterka contract saying?
Most likely is 2 years at $5 million.
Okay.
For Peterka?
An 8-year deal would, yes.
I mean,
An
I would
8-year
easily
deal
do
would
that.
be 8.1.
If his most likely is 2 years at $5 million, I'm easily doing that. So
I don't know. We'll see. We will see. All right. Any other Sabres things to really touch on? Feel like we've gone pretty long here. Don't think there's really
Just
anything
the
Sabres
Amherst.
related to touch on. Should we give the Amherst some love?
yes.
JP, you want to lead this conversation?
I mean, they're on to the conference finals, I believe. And they have, I believe, they just
Division
had the
finals.
third longest, the what? Division finals? They just had the third longest, I believe, ever layoff after a series win, which is insane. 13 days, a full 2 weeks between playoff series, like crazy to see.
Yeah, it's insane. I was keeping up with it on the AHL website, and their series was completely wrapped up before a lot of the other series even started.
Yeah.
I was just like, why the hell did they play so early?
It was weird. Like
Definitely weird.
But
I
I know
feel like that's a
different
massive
divisions have different
disadvantage for us.
formats. No, did you see the other stat? It said that I think out of like the last 17 longest breaks that teams have had, 10 of them have won the Calder Cup.
I did not see that.
It's more than half.
I like that.
It's more than half.
Good find.
mean,
It's a
The
good find.
storyline of the playoffs is Devin Levi. He's got a .67 these playoffs, and he has 2 shutouts. Like, he's been
3-0,
unbelievable.
9.78 save percentage. Pretty good.
Smells like starting caliber next season.
Ooh, I can't wait to do this for the 3rd year in a row. I'm so excited.
We give him the opportunity in camp. He just 888. God damn it.
We do this every year. But no, the Amherst look so legit. I mean, this is shaping up to be a potential Calder run. Unfortunately, this is just Laval's the one team they always have issues with. I think in the regular season they were 2-. Did they beat them in the regular season? I forget. I saw the stat posted somewhere what their season series was. They lost it. Laval is just a team that gives them trouble. But they also do get to avenge I think they were in the divisional final. It was when Quinn and Peterka had their AHL years. That was who eliminated them that year. So, do you remember the game that they got eliminated from? Went to like quadruple overtime in Rochester. It was a long game. That ended in heartbreak. So the Amherst get a chance to avenge themselves. So should be fun. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get to a game this series.
Their schedule sucks.
They kick things off. They kick things off on a Wednesday night, and their only other home game is what, Friday?
I think so.
Which is not the most ideal day to get down the 90.
For the Buffalo fans, it's not the most ideal.
Well, yeah, of course. So hopefully they win. I really want to get to a game. Hopefully they win the series. Would be fun, but
It'd be cool.
And
We need it for the vibes.
we won't even be able to watch it. They were advertising, yeah, it's going to be on MSG, and then they announced today, oh yeah, due to restrictions, we're not going to be able to put it on MSG.
I didn't know they had been advertising it.
Someone put it out there, I swear, because there's a reason why they just announced that they can't do it anymore, which is
I remember watching they I think when they got to the conference finals against Hershey, I think that was when MSG picked up their games. So I don't know if it's like a round restriction.
hopefully, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the pilot overtime goal was on MSG.
I don't know.
I
don't know about
Because
that.
I remember watching
I think you
it.
just watched it so many times that you've deluded yourself.
That is accurate.
That's actually how he starts every morning.
That's my ringtone.
We talk about 2022 and 2023 is, we reminisce about it, and JP, it just means something completely different to him. He reminisces about something else.
Something completely respectfully kind of irrelevant, but okay, I get
Not
it.
irrelevant.
Yep. So, Amerks sweep the Crunch, take on Laval in the North Divisional Final. Hopefully it goes well. I think we did. I think we hit all our notes here. I think
Just about, yep.
we've gone long enough. Had some catching up. Had a lot of catching up to do.
It's been a minute.
Sure.
It wasn't fun to catch up, but we had fun doing it.
It was a good laugh at the beginning of the episode. We kept
Yeah.
it light for a
Yeah.
while.
We got a whole archive of those. So many voice memos.
Yes, we do.
One day we'll release the files.
Release the files.
Release the TSR files.
Released episode 0.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know about
lost to time.
that. All right. I think we've gone long enough here. Thanks for tuning in, listening to if you've made it this far. It's not a fun time in the off season. But I promise we'll try not to be as negative. I think it's just the circumstance. There's no Sabres hockey going on. The playoffs are going on, and it's just not. Christian was saying the other day, I don't think he's ever been more tuned out of the NHL playoffs as he's been right now, which...
Well, when you have to watch Washington versus Carolina, I'd rather watch the grass grow or paint dry or... I don't know.
You didn't even have to say
Heat-
Washington.
Yeah.
You could just
See,
stop.
someone
You
was-
could have stopped
someone
at
was-
Carolina.
You see someone was live streaming themselves sleeping
Someone,
watching the
it
game.
was
They had a
Heat
game
Daddy.
on in the background. Oh, it was Heat. Yeah, it was Heat Daddy.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy going from that to like Florida, Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Don't know. This is what I was talking about.
We'll keep it light.
I was talking with some buddies the other day. If it's a Carolina, Toronto, Eastern Conference Final. Who the hell do you root for? I can't root for the Hurricanes. So like I'm gonna have to do something I really don't want to do.
The heat death of the universe. I think I would still have to root for the Hurricanes.
I can't. I can't do that. I can't. Who does Kevin Adams root for? That's the question. He played for both teams.
Played for both teams.
I don't know. We're about a month and 2 weeks off of the draft. We're getting there.
What's the date of the draft? Isn't free agency like that timeline? Isn't free agency like
Free agency is July 1st.
That's what I'm saying.
Every year.
Isn't that more the timeline you're talking about?
No, the draft is usually like
June 27th, I think.
Oh, I forget. They're like
It's
right
the
on top of
27th
each
and the
other.
28th.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's the 27th and the 28th. So, we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. Still got a ways
slowly
to go.
but surely, guys.
Slowly got a ways.
Settle in. We got a long way to go in the off season.
What do we got cooking next?
Lou Lamoriello emergency pod. Is
Emergency
that enough to
pod.
justify?
Uh,
Christian, if you told yourself a year ago that Lou Lamoriello could be in the Sabres front office,
I'd have thrown myself out of my second story window.
and look at you now. Now you're screaming at people to stop being so negative.
A year changes a man. God,
Emergency pod.
what is this? What
Do
is
you
this
mean
team, man?
Emergency live stream.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
I'm more or less saying,
We'll figure it
are we
out.
doing these player grades? Are we doing a Q&A?
Yeah, we probably should get to the player grades next. Maybe we'll have a dual record week. We'll do player grades and then we'll do a mailbag. The people want content, I'm sure.
They do.
Yeah, I'm sure they're dying for it.
I'm sure after 2 hours of just torching the organization,
Rambling.
I'm sure they want more. So we'll get to those. Long summer still ahead. So thanks for sticking with us through this one. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at the Sabre Report. Also on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Sabre Report. If you listen to this on YouTube, thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and give us your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure today there's a lot you could give us some feedback on. As always, give our friends over at the Buffalo Sports Talk podcast a listen. They're in off-season mode, but tomorrow's a big day for the Buffalo Bills. Schedule will be released, and all these stupid Twitter rumors will finally be put to rest, and we'll actually know where and when they're... Well, I guess we know where they're playing every game, but I guess just when each game is being played. So, fingers crossed that there is not a Christmas game. Are we in agreement on that?
Yeah. Not a fan.
I don't really care. I could get behind a Christmas game.
Not a fan, but I think it makes sense.
So stay tuned for that. All right, we're going to end this one here. Once again, thank you guys for listening. And as always, go Sabres.
Go Sabres.
Sabres.